Hey y'all, so I'm driving home right now. Pardon the bad angles, but I was having some feelings. I thought I'd talk about them. It just kind of came out of nowhere for me. So, I don't believe I've ever talked about this on my channel before, but so growing up, my family was really close with the pastor of our church and his wife. They didn't have any kids of their own, so kind of everybody, all the kids at church, were kind of like their kids, and we would spend time with them, and they'd take us to do fun stuff, and so they're about my grandparents' age, a little bit younger, but pretty much like grandparents to us when we were kids. And honestly, we saw them more often than I saw my actual grandparents, my mom's parents, just because they lived far away. And I mean, we saw these people every week at church, and fairly often outside of church. And so when I was a kid, I used to have sleepovers at their house, and we'd go and do something fun on the next day, or go on a motorcycle ride. And I can remember him teaching me stuff about how to drive a car, and listen to the Beach Boys. And his wife passed away on Sunday, I think, Sunday or Monday. I'm not sure what the date was, but it was a couple days ago. And she'd been sick for a really long time, like many years, and had really been doing everything, and had a good long battle with cancer. Now, I haven't really talked to them in quite some time because of my transition. They didn't support it, didn't agree with it, and even had a very extreme view of my transition as a demonic possession. So, in their opinion, Liam was a demon who overpowered the weaker Kayla. That's a lot to unpack and try and wrap your head around, but so I haven't really talked to them in quite some time, and that was a really hard relationship for me to lose, because we were very close growing up. It had kind of started to get fractured when I came out as gay, because they didn't support that either, but I still would see them regularly, when I was home for break and stuff like that, and because they were important people in my life, and I liked sharing my life with them. The last time I saw them, though, was, I'm trying to remember, either before or after my sister's wedding. It was right around the end of 2018, because I remember talking to them about it. I want to say it was either that or very early 2019. I want to say it was sometime around then, because I distinctly remember talking to them about her wedding. I think I remember talking about how cold it was. So either that or it was right before, and we were talking about how they might not make it. I can't remember. It's been almost 2 years. I hadn't talked to them since I came out. And then I think it was middle of 2017 where I was kind of like, you know what? I've made reparations with my parents. I'm trying to kind of make some reparations with other people from my youth who have had opposing views to my transition, and just kind of get to a place where I've said my piece, they've said their piece, and it's as reconciled as it will be. So I had reached out to them in 2017, I think right before my top surgery, I want to say, because I was going to be around for a week or so taking care of Grammy, who was having surgery before I did. So I saw them for the first time. Then that's when they had this discussion about what they thought of my transition, and it was like, okay, I don't think I can come and meet you in the middle with that. So I kind of had to let that go, and that was really painful for me to let go of this relationship that was so important, and so many of my childhood memories involved them in some way. My church growing up, while they were a part of that, it's also a hurtful place. So it's a lot of mixed emotions for me thinking about them and stuff like that. And I really, when I first heard about that she was told that she was dying, I didn't really have any reaction other than, almost thankfulness, because she's had a very low quality of life lately. as far as pain and just going through so much, and it's like, you know what, like, you know, she deserves to go and be with Jesus, okay, you know. So I was relieved for her and really sad for her husband. And today, yesterday and today, I've been listening. So they made these Christian albums like in the 80s and 90s that I used to listen to all the time as a kid. Like, we had them on CD, I would plug them into the computer, and I would play games on the computer and listen to their music. And so, like, I know every single word to these songs. And I was, you know, he shared on her Facebook yesterday a link to one of their albums, and it made me think about it. So I was listening to them on iTunes the past couple of days, and just all of a sudden earlier when I was driving, I just started crying because, like, you know, I'm listening to her singing and I'm listening to his voice, and it's like I haven't talked to them in person in so long. I haven't heard their voices in so long, and now it's like, I don't know what it is. It's almost like the fact that there's no chance to repair our relationship, at least between her and I, you know, because she's not here anymore. It's so weird to feel grief for someone that you've already lost, if that makes sense. Like, our relationship was broken, it was fractured, we did not talk to each other, I did not see them, you know, but she still was like a really, I'm getting emotional now, an important part of my childhood and my teen years. Like, she used to mentor me. You know, I'd go to her house once a week, and it was, you know, church-related stuff, but I can remember going with her when she had a couple of different talks in various places. I don't even know where, but I would go with her and help her set up for her talks, and she would sing at them. So she had all sorts of, like, equipment that I would carry for her, and it would be just the two of us, and we'd go and do that, and, you know, whenever I'd spend time at her house, it was, you know, we'd play a game, we'd play Quiddler, or we'd play Scrabble, or something like that, or we'd just sit and talk, and it was just nice, and she was so caring and warm. And she was just somebody who really cared about everybody that she came across, and there's not a lot of people like that. And I know that her views towards me were extreme, and that has been something I've had to process on my own, but I still have, like, a lot of love for her and for him and for her husband, because they were such a key role in my life. And so it's really strange to know that she's not here anymore. You know, my day-to-day life is not impacted by this at all, you know, other than I mean, we were still friends on Facebook, so occasionally I'd see her posts and stuff, but that's really the only change for me, is that obviously she's not going to post on Facebook, and every once in a while she would comment on something of mine, but for the most part we were ships passing in the night, I think. And I don't know, it's just like it's really strange to, like, I did not expect to have that reaction to listening to their music. I just thought it would be nice to listen to, but then all of a sudden I was just like tears streaming down my face, because I think a part of me, inside of me, is still hurt by how things were, and is, you know, sad for the relationship that we had. And, you know, people don't talk about that kind of stuff when they talk about transition. Like, there are some things that, I guess people do talk about it, but it's not like, I don't know, I feel like a lot of the times we focus on, like, everybody's support, and we don't think about the relationships that get lost along the way. You know, I've had to give up a lot of things in order to be myself, and that's hard. And it's hard to have people that you love and that you want to share parts of your life with, like, not accept who you are. It's really difficult. So it's a really, like, a very mixed feeling I have, and I was just wanting to talk about it and see if anybody else out there has had similar experiences where, like, someone you know and, like, had a close relationship with prior to transitioning, who you kind of fell out with when transitioning, if they've passed away, like, how has that made you feel? Because it's kind of stirred up all this stuff again for me, where I do feel really sad. I feel sad that our relationship was not the way it once was, and I feel sad that she's not on this earth anymore, and I feel sad for her husband. I just feel a lot of things, you know. And so, I don't know, I was just curious, and I thought I would end things by playing a little bit of a song, one of their songs.
dreamy Christmas morn, and all the gifts and toys we knew we'd found, but we didn't realize a baby boy in that blessed night gave us the greatest gift of our lives. We are the reason that he gave his life. We are the reason that he suffered and died.
Anyway, I won't play the whole thing, but I just thought I'd capture some of her voice here. Okay, that's all. I don't really feel like crying anymore, so if you listen to all this, thanks. And let me know if you've ever experienced something similar. Okay. Hope you guys are having a great week. I'll talk to you next time.